What is the least restrictive means? Test for religious freedom. Imagine trying to keep your religious beliefs alive while the government enforces a law that seems to interfere. How do courts decide if that law is fair or too harsh? That's where the least restrictive means test comes in. It's a way to see if the government is going too far when limiting religious practices. This test is part of the legal rules that protect your right to practice your religion freely under the First Amendment. Here's how it works. When someone challenges a law that affects their religious activities, the government has to prove two things. First, it must show it has a very strong reason, called a compelling government interest, for enforcing that law. Second, it must prove there is no other way to achieve that goal that would interfere less with religious freedom. If there's a less restrictive way, the law can't be used against you. For example, think about a law that requires everyone to wear a specific helmet for safety. If your religion says you shouldn't wear helmets, the government must show that requiring helmets is absolutely necessary for safety. They also need to prove there's no other way to keep people safe that wouldn't interfere with your religious beliefs. If they can find a way that limits your religious practice less, they must use that instead. This test is used in cases involving the Free Exercise Clause of the First Amendment, which protects your right to practice your religion without government interference. It's also part of the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, a federal law that applies this test to actions by the federal government and sometimes to state governments too. Knowing about this test helps you see when the government might be overstepping. If a law unfairly targets your religious practice, you can argue that the government didn't choose the least restrictive way. Courts will then examine whether the government's actions are truly necessary or if there's a simpler, less intrusive solution. Remember, the goal of this test is to protect your religious freedoms. The government must have a very good reason and must choose the option that limits your rights the least. If you ever face a law that conflicts with your beliefs, understanding this test can help you see if your rights are being respected or if the government is going too far. It's a key tool for standing up for your personal freedoms and ensuring your religious practices are protected.